peeps, this is your quick training video on the everything card. Sorry for the bouncing, I'm having to do this on an outside table right now. Let's start with math. The math cards include a 0 to 10 in numerals, finger cards 0 to 10, dot cards for one side of a domino or for dice, 1 to 9, 5 frames, and some more from 0 to 10. Shape cards, rectangle, circle, square, pentagon, triangle, hexagon. All right, let's start with the games that you can play with these cards. The two main games that you can play are War, which in my room I call Top It. I stole that from Everyday Math out of the University of Chicago. I prefer the term Top It so that I just can avoid the whole issue of whatever might go with the word war. So you can play War with the full deck, or you can have them do this with any combinations you want. In a normal world, I arrange the decks different weeks, especially in the beginning of the year, based on what we're working on. So, numeral cards, for example, we might not be using a whole lot right now. And I might wait on the shape cards and the 5-frame cards. So first, I might mix up the cards and play War just with the dot patterns and with the finger cards. And of course, you can also tell them and be able to individualize this or modify it based on what numbers you use. So for example, you could just put 1 through 5 in there, or 0 through 5. We do not pass out the cards back and forth. 1 for you, 1 for me, 1 for you, 1 for me. That's a disaster. You just shuffle the cards you're using, put them in the middle of the playing space. We use placemats in my classroom. Tell parents they can use anything they want. You can do it on a plate, cookie sheet, pillowcase, just something to define the space. That just helps with organizational schema. Is that what that is? And then you play this way. I turn over a card. My partner turns over a card. We talk about what's there. I got 8. You guys got 9. You won. You get both cards. And I would, in my modeling, teach them how to put their pile face up on their side of the mat. So you keep playing. I turned over a 7. You all turned over a 9. You win again. I turned over a 7. You turned over a 6. I win. Another little trick I learned from the University of Chicago is that when you are playing games where there's a total that wins out, normally the larger total wins out over the smaller total. So let's just stop the game there and let's pretend that it was a very short game and you had 4 and I had 2. The way you keep the kids' interest until the end, they all have a red and yellow counter in their bag. And what you tell them from the very beginning is, when you're done, you flip to see who's won. Rhyme is mine. Don't think a lot of PhD math people who wrote Everyday Math probably would have come up with a rhyme. So when you're done, flip to see who's won. So we keep it the same all the time. If it comes up yellow, the person with the fewest cards wins. If it comes up red, the person with the most wins. So depending on who your child is in your class or how you're coaching parents, you have several strategies this early in the year to talk about most and fewest. So for a kid who we're needing to build a lot of schema for this for, a lot of scaffolding, you might play with only the numbers 1, 2, and 3, or maybe 1, 2, 3, and 4. The easiest way is you teach them how to line their cards up, and I'm going to move my mat here, with the edge of your playing space, so it's even, and you say, oh, we're each going to get the same start, and you teach them how to line up their cards in a line, and then you line up yours and say, whose line longer, who won the race. Oh, goodness. Sorry, I don't mean to keep making you sick with that. So that's a very easy way to start with more and less and build that in. But this has never failed me. This has kept games going 100% better than anything I had ever done in the past since about 2003 now. So give that a try, and it's a really easy way, especially if somebody is winning over and over and over and over and over again, and the child is like, that's not fair. Then the parent or you, when you get back in the classroom, or whomever is able to say, but we don't know who's won until the end. Because in math, sometimes having the most isn't best. And my favorite example for this is the person with the most minutes in time out at home. Is that good that you have a bigger number? No, it's not. You don't want to have more. You'd rather have less. So that's why we always wait to see who wins at the end. So of course you can do that with any combination of the different types of cards that you want. The next type that you do, or the next game that you do, sorry, I'm really tired, is you do memory. And in order to show you how the shape cards help you out, we're going to play memory with the shape cards. So you're going to need the 3 numeral card, because a triangle has 3 sides. I'm sure you see where we're going now. You might even want to have the kid match them up ahead of time. And you're going to need the 4 card, and then pick square or rectangle, whichever one they're having more trouble with. For my kids, it's always rectangle. And 0 sides for the circle, or you could choose one. There's a raging debate in the math community if that is no sides. I teach that it's 1 side that never ends, because the side never ends. I've actually done research on this, and I just tell my kids that the grown-ups argue about whether it's 1 side that never stops or no sides, because there's not a way to fall off. That's totally up to you. And then you can put out your hexagon with a 6 and your pentagon with a 5. We are making an expansion pack, so later I'm going to do, what is it that they call it in art? I'm going to make some inorganic, organic shapes. These are not organic shapes that have 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 sides. So then, of course, you just mix them up. This is a great way to teach organizational skills, and you teach them how to make rows. I don't really worry too much about even rows. I just pick a small number, and if some are extra, let me move my mat. You can see we've got a couple down there, no big deal. It really is important to teach them to turn it over and leave it in its spot, and turn it over and leave it in its spot so that the other player can see. That works on visual discrimination skills, because they're trying to remember the placement of the card. And I don't let them hide them, I don't let them peek, all that stuff. But you're building so many skills here besides math with the organizational structure, which is not knowing how to lay things out in lines, things like that. That is not something that's going to come naturally to most kids, especially us ADHDs. We need people to show us that stuff. Once you show us and you practice it with us, we'll get it. But we're never going to come up with it on our own without a lot of pain. And then you just continue to play memory, 6, rectangle, so then the next person. And since I'm talking, I wasn't paying attention. Oh, was it this one or this one? Aha! No, I really didn't set that up. So then I win that pair. I put it on my side of the mat. You play till you're done. You see who has the most cards, and you flip. Red, we never change this, is for the person with the most. Yellow is for the person with the least. Now, in terms of teaching tools, Of course, your numeral cards are going to be great. Build your own number line. They're going to be great for quick warm-ups. Put your numbers in order. You may ask your parents to, hey, can you put your kids' shape cards out or numeral cards out and take the other ones away this week. I really would encourage you to ask parents for some heads up with that, so that we don't lose these things, and that you remind them that these kits are not toys and should not be out for the kids to access on their own. They need to be kept for school. If not, that's only going to make your job online harder. So, you might say to them, all right, build your number line. Build your number line with your finger cards. You might have everybody one day in morning meeting. You might say to them the day before, come to morning meeting with your favorite finger card and be ready to tell us what number it is, and teach the class really quick. I brought a 7. 7 has 5 fingers on one side, 2 on the other. Get creative. The idea was for these to be able to do just about anything and everything you could think of. And you can keep going. So, for example, with your advanced kids, you can even start building teen numbers, or building 2-digit numbers, especially if you start off with some really advanced kids and the parents are looking for more help, other things to do. I'm going to keep this short. Let me know what other ideas you think of. And there's an expansion pack coming. It will be optional for those of you in the classroom, obviously. If you go back to the classroom, if you really like them, you can print them out on your own. And I have 6 sets of these in my classroom for rotations, so I can show you later on down the road when we're all not freaking out about starting in 4 days, how you can continue to use the other pieces and ways you can continue to use this throughout the year. But you guys are pretty brilliant, so I think you'll be able to figure out really quick. I mean, addition, you get the whole idea. All right, so